Hello, my gorgeous makeup-loving friends. That's right. It's that time of week where I take a shower, clean myself, and put on a bra to film releases and rants. Because most of the time I am untethered, like my rage. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference. Anyways, this is the show where we basically talk about the highlighted new makeup releases, the good, the bad, and the whatever. And we just boil it down to the stuff that you guys are interested in. You know the dealio. I have the gorgeous, beautiful, transcendent Tia, who she did say she wasn't going to wear makeup, and that's right. That's what she looks like barefaced.
It's just too hot in here, like 28 degrees. It's been that for like days, so I'm like just boiling.
The temperature is only increasing with how gorgeous you are.
Yeah.
It's really upsetting. That's what you look like without makeup, and I'm like, God damn it. I mean, it helps when you're such a good canvas to work on. But you know the drill. I'll have Tia's details down below so that you can follow her. But I wouldn't be able to do this episode without you guys very diligently tagging me in the stuff that you guys wanted us to talk about. So I'll have displayed your names right now to say thank you very much. But we do have a few little bits to talk about. And this one is kind of something I would have thought would have come years ago. And it feels not quite late to the game. But considering Manny MUA and Laura Lee have been friends for 5 million years, they have a podcast together. They each have their own respective beauty brands. This is the first time they're actually collabing, and this is a collab between Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee Los Angeles. Now, if you like it, you can buy it on either Lunar Beauty or on Laura Lee Los Angeles, so whichever one you want. It's called the Fool Fantasy, so FOOL. It's basically kind of a play on their Fool coverage podcast that they do, but they have quite a dialed back collection. There's an eyeshadow palette for $48. There's a blush palette for $35. There's 2 lipsticks. You could get them together for $20. And I gotta say, I kind of like that they've taken their names and meshed them. So one is called Mora, which is obviously a hybrid of Manny and Laura, and then the other one is Lani, and they're $14 each. There's a brush collection for $70, or you can get individual brushes between $13 and $14, and there's a cosmetics bag for $15, and you can get the whole thing for $135. I gotta say, right, I was going through the website and I was trying to find pictures, and you can get pictures of the palette, no problem, but can you get decent photos of swatches? No, you can't, because for whatever reason, both Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee Los Angeles have decided to put these weird hexagonal fucking swatches up there, and you literally can't really determine what the palette looks like, and it's very, very frustrating. But I did find this particular swatch online, and I gotta say that's what sold it to me, because this is looking rich, it's quite deep, it's very autumnal. I can see the inspiration from Laura Lee coming in there. There's kind of like elements of that nudie patootie in there, and there's kind of reference back to Manny's Nude Prism palette, which he did relatively recently. The blush palette is quite nice as well. All in all,
it looks much darker like on the pictures, but then when it's swatched, it's not actually like that dark.
Yeah,
but it's beautiful. I actually like this collection. The brushes, 70, how much was it? $70 for like 6 brushes. Well, I guess it's not too bad, but like it is quite expensive. But at least you can get them like separately.
Yeah.
If you want them all, you can just buy what you need. The brush set isn't for me, but I do like the palette. I feel like it is like really pretty, and you can really tell like that it's a collab between these two persons, in my opinion. Like look at those murky, like kind of like greenish tones in there.
Oh, beautiful.
So I feel like they did a good job. And that blush palette, that like light pink shade.
Yeah.
Come on. That is so pretty.
I love though that when you're looking at the blush palette, it's like there's like one side that is clearly Laura and one side that's clearly Manny. So it is like literally like half and half.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's so, so pretty.
The lippies are like whatever. I don't like the shades, but like they make sense for them. It's like the shade that they would use as nudes, but it's not like something I would do. But I like the package and it's really pretty.
Yeah, it's very luxe. I feel like it is a good hybrid between the two brands as well.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I think the only thing I was fussed on was like the brush collection.
Yeah. I feel like they did a good job with this, and it's not like huge collection. Still, like it has like a couple of things but it's not still like they could have done like a huge collection. And if you buy this all together, you can save quite a bit money.
Yeah, yeah. I love though that when you're looking at each of those things, you can see, oh, that's Lunar Beauty, or oh, that's Laura Lee. Because if I
Yeah,
put that into my collection, you know, it could very easily go into the Laura Lee category, but it could also very easily fit into the Lunar Beauty category,
yeah.
the packaging, etc. So for me, I like that because I'm really weird about how I organize things, and that kind of pleases me. I did end up getting stuff because I'm a fool. Look, whatever, it's fine. I got the palette, I got the blush, and I got the two lipsticks because I was like, oh, well, why not? In for a penny, in for a pound. If they're only $20, like, never ever take financial advice from me. But I'm very excited. I will say though, I ordered them from Lunar Beauty, and you're like kind of going through the website going like la 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 la. I don't like the way it's kind of set up because I can't scroll very easily on it, but that's just a totally different thing. But you go through the whole thing and you're like, okay, this doesn't seem too expensive, and then you get to the shipping. Oh my god. The shipping. The shipping is so expensive.
Oh, I feel like the shipping is like really expensive these days from like United States to like Europe or like UK or something. Like I feel like a lot of brands have like a really high.
Oh, like I started messing around just to see if like if I added in more to my cart would it be less. And I put like $200 worth of, or no, less than 200. I think like $140 worth of items into my cart, and the shipping, and I shit you not, was $80.
Holy moly. That's like what I feel like they might do it. What do they do it with weight then? Like, is it like if the less you order, the less?
But then I tried to order less, and then I put one pallet in for like that was like $35 or something, and the shipping was $41.
That doesn't make any sense.
I was so frustrated. But I know that like they say it's like calculating shipping and duties as well, so it's all like done.
Oh well, that's kind of nice. So you
Yeah.
don't have to like.
But it is still,
What
it's so like difficult to swallow that
Yeah.
$80, $60, whatever, that I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is actually like a not badly priced collection. And I got
Yeah.
like, some codes for like 10% off, so I was like, grand, let's pop those on. And then I almost had a car on me. I still went off and got it because I'm an idiot. And I mean, no further explanation is really needed on that. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you will know that no logic, no rationale is behind these particular opinions, thoughts, etc.
Teresa just blacks out and buys stuff, and then she's like, "Oh, what happened?"
Thankfully, I'm working from home these days, so when the postman comes, I can just grab the parcel and run. And Sahil doesn't know. Does not. I thought she'd done so well. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Don't look in the recycling bin. Don't look in the recycling bin. Yeah, this is edging its way to me. I know it's been a while since I've done like review videos because I've been so busy with the move, etc. But I am going to get back to that. So whether you like it or not, guys, I am going to do a review of this collection. Sauce, not sauce. Also, I don't know if you guys would like a haul of shit I've bought recently.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just for Tia. I'll just do it for Tia. Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I love hauls.
Living vicariously. Yeah, I really like this. There's something about the palette. There's like little kind of grungy tones in there. There's mixture of pink. I can see this palette really working very nicely with bits in my collection. Like I would pair that palette, and this is going to sound bizarre, but with the Lowest Cosmetics Meet Me in the Underworld, I think that would look gorgeous.
Oh yeah, it would pair well with that.
Yeah, I have ideas about what I want to pair it with. I'm already excited. I think it's very, very pretty. And it's okay with you guys. I will say we are in the midst of financial issues, so I think people are being more meh than usual. The palette scored 36% love it, the blush was 29% love it, the lipsticks then were 22% love it, and the brush collection was 12% love it, which is fair enough. Then we have more influencer makeup, and this time it's made by Mitchell, or Mitchell, depending on how you want to pronounce his name. And he has the new color cases, which again makes sense. The previous color cases that he came out with were, I mean, if you spend any time on TikTok, it was somebody kind of going, I could do this, I with the color case. There were so many videos, you kind of couldn't go on to social media for a while without seeing a color case. So given the popularity of that, it kind of made sense that he's added to it. And this time he has a sort of grey scale. But in my opinion, the grey scale is very blue toned when you look at it.
Yeah, it definitely has those like bluish tint.
It
gray.
does, yeah. And it's not a critique or anything. I actually think it's very, very pretty. And then there's the Eclectics, which is more of a pastel sort of a palette. And I had the lovely Kaylee who actually was on my TikTok and said, oh, is it just me or is the pastel palette actually very blue leaning as well? It's actually very, very heavy on the blues, which I was
It's
like,
like 4 blues in
yeah,
it. That's a bit unnecessary in my opinion.
it's very unevenly weighted.
Yeah, I feel like these are nice, but I feel like with like especially with the more colorful pastel one, you could make all of those colors if you had the existing two.
Yeah.
The gray one, you could probably make most of those with the existing two already. But I kind of feel like this is just catering to a specific need if people don't want to like mix them or like do that. So I mean it's fine. Am I gonna buy these? Probably not. If I would buy one, I would probably get the gray one. But I don't know if I do gray looks that much that I need like a full color case to it.
I see, I like the tones of the grey, but I don't know if I necessarily want a colour case. Like I have the 2 colour cases as it is, and I really liked that one was like the flesh tone because I was like, that's brilliant. That's just handy to have. I don't know why I think that. In what situation am I going to need to like do somebody else's makeup? That was my like, this is why I get the colour case so I can do Sahil's makeup. Because he's always whinging that he's like, you could never do my makeup on YouTube because you have no foundations, etc. for me. And I'm like, bitch, please.
Now I do.
No. And I will annoy him to do that at some point. But he said I'm only allowed 1 video per year from him. So I have to choose wisely, friends. Yeah, it's fine. I would have preferred the grayscale in a palette. I feel like the pastel one, very unbalanced, kind of a little bit unnecessary. But you know that people are going to like shit themselves for this. Like,
I feel like this is just he's doing what people want and need because the 2 existing ones were so popular. So it's like just adding to that collection and it's fine, but it's not like if you have the 2 already and you're like kind of like on the fence, maybe don't buy them because you could totally just mix them and make these colors, most of these anyway.
and I think that's such a good point. Like, he is listening to what people are wanting and he's giving them that. Like, you have to hand it to Mitchell. He's very, very good in business. He does seem to interact quite a bit with his audience, like even in terms of like having their is it their TikTok and doing TikTok lives and like packaging things, etc. So there's a very like interactive experience. So a lot of people like really love that they can see their order being packaged as they're getting it, like all of these things. So I think he's like really hit on how to do an influencer brand
Yeah.
successfully.
I feel like after they joined TikTok, the brand came even more like popular.
Yeah.
Like he has had so many launches now. Like I feel like he's launching different things like every week.
I totally agree because obviously like it's a new enough brand. It's only been around for 3-ish years. We remember when it came out and they came out with the 2 big palettes, and then there was a really long period then between things, you know, of like when they came out with their new products. But now it feels like they've kind of hit a rhythm Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit too fast. Maybe a little bit too fast. Maybe slow down a little bit. But that's just me. But maybe don't listen to me on that. But like, he's doing well. Like for a new business to reach.
Yeah, they're
high.
doing really well.
Yeah. I mean, you can obviously get this on like TikTok, or not TikTok. You can get it on TikTok, but you can also get it on B2B, etc. But like B2B always adds on like so much in terms of like
You
price.
can get it on TikTok Shop if you're on UK. But if you're not in UK, then don't even dream about those deals.
No. I mean, you can dream about them, but you're just going to wake up disappointed.
Yeah.
So, good luck to you. I do have an affiliate link, believe it or not, and you can click on that down below if you are interested. Woo! Yeah, I don't know, if this is like maybe half price, I might get the grayscale one at some point, but I would love, love, love if you actually took that and made it into a palette.
Yeah, like an eyeshadow palette.
Wear that. Like, it would be fabulous.
You haven't done any eyeshadow palettes, like, in a really long time.
No, the last one he did was the mango palette.
Yeah.
And that was very, very different in style to his previous palettes that he had done, the milk and the feet on the ground and head in sky, and then the mini one. Like for a brand that, yes, is still relatively new, when you think about the launches that they've had, the proportion of eyeshadow palettes actually is very low.
I would actually like to see a new palette from them.
Same, particularly because the last one was laid out in a way that was much more appealing to me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, this is much more my kind of, because the feet on the ground, etc., was just so mishmashed that I couldn't figure out where things were, and it kind of confused me. But I think this is a great step forward for the brand. I think it's, it makes sense for them. When I put it to you guys, pastel palette did the best actually. 38% of you loved it, while 27% liked the more grayscale one. And oh my god, guys, gird your loins. Take out that credit card, although you're watching this on Saturday, so if you haven't got it by now, who knows, it's probably sold out, and if so, I'm very sorry, that's not on me. In case you can't tell, this is Cosmic Brushes, and it's their new Delicious Delights palette, and that's right, Tia has it in her possession right now.
Look how stunning it is.
Oh,
so pretty, and like this is gonna pair so well with the already existing ones that I own all of them because she's kindly sent them all to me. But this is one of the brands, like indie brands, that I just love so much. I'm always excited to see new things coming from them.
Agree. They are top tier in terms of indie brands. Like, and like you said, this palette, it is a sister palette to the previous 3 palettes that have come out so far. And I can actually see how this could be used in conjunction with all of them, because I know we've said like, oh, it's great if you can have one palette and dip into that. But I know I had a viewer last week, Teresa, say that they prefer actually using several palettes.
I actually do that a lot too. But when I when we talk about it releases, and I try to see like on like people who don't buy that much makeup or just want to have like one palette, sometimes they don't work like on their own. But I feel like this still works on its own because it still have, yes, it is like more pastel, but you still have like a couple of like darker shades that you could do a look on its own with this, but it will pair really nicely with the existing ones.
Yeah. And look, guys, you're looking at that and kind of going, it's beautiful palette, beautiful, stunning, there's multi-chromes, there's mattes, it all looks lovely, beautiful shimmers. £25.
It's so mind-boggling to me. How did you keep the prices so low and the quality is like top-notch? So good. Like, I love all of their palettes, and the formula is really nice, pigmented, easy to blend. The shimmers are like really high shine, and like you have like multi-chromes. I know that she said that the shade, was it Sprinkles, just like the multi-chrome, was like really expensive to make. So it was like almost the cost of the full palette that was the previous one. So she really had to work to like keep the price as low still.
Oh, I just feel like it is executed so well. And even if you're looking at the palette and kind of going, oh, I'm not really sure, when you see the swatches
Oh,
My God.
I love how they do their swatches, and they're like real swatches. They're not like computer generated swatches, and you can see them on like different skin tones. I like that too.
It's spectacular, and like it's so difficult to get a multi-chrome to show up in a picture, but they have that shade sprinkle being shown very, very clearly in the photograph. Like you know what you're signing up for there.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I can't wait to use mine when I can do makeup. My skin has been really bad, so I'm waiting it to get better, and then I can do some makeup with this. This is definitely gonna be a palette that I use next when I do.
Oh, I am like I can't even verbalize how excited I am. But the problem is, right? This is coming out on Friday, and I have a work social team building thing at that time where we're meant to be paintballing. So what am I meant to do at that particular time? Just like stand up, take my phone out, and try and like quickly purchase
You're
it
just gonna
online.
have to freeze everyone. Stop what you're doing. I need to order this.
I just have like
Just take a bathroom break or something and go to the bathroom.
take a bathroom break in the middle of paintball. I don't know. I don't do paintball. I'm very
Or
stressed.
maybe just like let someone shoot you really fast.
I
And
don't
then you can
know.
be like, I'm out.
I just have this vision of me like getting up and just getting absolutely destroyed in paint. And I'm going, I better go fucking get this damn palette. So if the owner of Cosmic Brushes is watching, if I didn't manage to order, I'm so sorry.
He's also coming out with the highlighter palette. We haven't seen it yet, but like,
I already want it.
it's gonna be mine. I just know it.
Oh yeah, no, look, everything that Cosmic Brushes have done so far has been executed to such a high standard. Like
Yeah.
they are again a new indie brand, but knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Such a good job. It's one of my favorite brands, as I said. So
Yeah. Look, you'll already know that I'll have put up on my YouTube community yesterday as you're watching Tia's link and Tia's code, but I'm going to put it down below again because they have ordered in a lot more palettes than before. So hopefully it's still in stock, and if you're still interested, go and get it. And if it isn't in stock, save the link and save the code. Just tell you, A, you'll save yourself some money, and our girl Tia will get a nice little commission. And we like that.
Commission.
Yes! I love it. Absolutely. Like, there isn't a single thing I can critique on it. I wouldn't change anything.
I love it.
Love it. And can I just say, so many of you loved it as well. 76%.
Holy shit, that's a lot.
That's huge. I love that we're moving from Cosmic Brushes to Cosmic Crush. This is Too Faced and their new Cosmic Crush eyeshadow palette, which is apparently coming soon. It's $52, and in true Too Faced style, it apparently smells like sparkling apple cider. Is that what the Cosmos smells like? We went to space. So you just kind of like, you know, you're standing around on Mars, just kind of go, God, it smells like sparkling apple cider.
It's like, why? Like, I don't know. I feel like, well, like why does your eyeshadow palette have to smell of something?
Just Too Faced, listen to me. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. For instance, I can go out in a little bikini out in my front yard, but I shouldn't, and I don't, because I don't want to subject my neighbours to that. In the same way that you shouldn't subject our eyeballs to sparkling apple cider scent. Oh, fuck it, that. I feel like this is the sort of thing that Sahil would really love, because he loves it when things are scented. Anytime I get something new, he'll take it from me and he'll take it out of the packaging and he'll start sniffing it and kind of smells nice. And I'm like, it's not smelling. Like, what are you doing? It's very strange. I think a lot of people, unless it's like a lip gloss or whatever, you don't really bother with like scented. I don't get it. And I love that that's the major talking point for this. In, again, true Too Faced fashion, they're like, well, if we want to inject a bit of colour, how about some pink and purple?
Just like the cover is more interesting than the inside of the palette.
100%.
Like imagine if they've had added like those pinks and blues there and some like sparkling, beautiful shades, and not like mostly neutral with a pop of like purple and like slightly pinkish shade. And why is the darkest shade a shimmer again?
I mean, I think it was Kelsey that was saying that some people do like a shimmer for like a dark shimmer like that for like a smoked out sort of a look, which is fine. I think particularly for people who are just kind of going for subtle statements,
Yeah.
that sort of shade is perfect for that. And I think that's what this palette is. It's for people who are like, oh no, I don't want to do a big makeup look. I just want to do a makeup look and be done, which is fine. And that's perfect for that. In my opinion, in my very humble opinion, $52 is an awful lot for that.
Yeah.
Like, put that against Cosmic Brushes, £25 palette. Excuse me.
It doesn't compete. It just doesn't compete. Look at those swatches.
Oof.
How boring are those? Like, come on, like, does it look like that, or can you not swatch your own palettes? Like, sometimes with brands, like, I do appreciate with the like different skin tones that they're displayed there. That's nice, but the swatches look so dull and like so lackluster, and that is not like. I feel like we've talked about so many times, like if that was like swatched nicely, I feel like you could convince people to buy it. But those swatches make me like, no, thank you, no.
But I even wonder, are these like real swatches or are they like computer generated?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have so many trust issues. Like the thing is, the background is way more interesting because I'm like looking at the background and the swatches are the purple and the black and the stars. I'm like, ooh, that's nice. But that's what I'm looking at, not the swatches.
Could have been such a nice palette if they just would have like pulled inspiration from that like palette design, those colors in there. But like maybe I expect a little bit too much from Too Faced.
See, the thing is, Too Faced are not like a bad brand for something.
Like I feel like they have good products and like good quality products.
Yeah.
But it's just like the presentation sometimes. It's just like
I feel like of all of the products that Too Faced does, the eyeshadows are their weakest.
Yeah.
Like
I actually owned a one Too Faced palette. It was like the Pretty Rich or something.
Because it had
and like the pigmentation and like it was like good quality palette. But it's just like I feel like their color stories are so meh to me.
But they're so repetitive.
Yeah.
Everyone
just, like repeat the same thing.
They do. Completely. Because I'm fairly certain that sort of like magenta-y shade has been in several Too Faced palettes. Like go and take your chocolate bar gold palette and I guarantee that that fuchsia shade in there is very similar to that.
Thank God they're not doing the chocolate bar palette.
Don't say it too loud because you know the naughties are coming back and they're going to be like, bring back the bonbons.
I think I jinxed it. Next week is going to be a new chocolate bar palette.
New. We found these in the back of the warehouse. Like, I don't know. Like, I do think they do some very good products. I genuinely do. But I think maybe they need to just stop with eyeshadow for a while until they get a more interesting direction and know where they're going, because this is just all over the place. Like they have so many different like types of eyeshadow, like even the little 6 and 8 pan palettes that almost feel childish, and then there's this. And I'm like, I'm just generally confused about what their market is at this point when it comes to eyeshadows. Not so much about anything else, just their eyeshadows. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. I really don't.
Because I feel like we're over the pop of color with the neutral. Like, it's been done so many times before. Like, can we be done with it, please?
And it has been done better.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I find it very dull. If you love it, then fantastic. I am delighted for you. And I hope you do get to pick it up, but please don't get it at full price, for the love of God. See if you can get some money off. Do not pay $52 for that. It is not worth it, my friends. It's not. Trust me. Yeah, it's not for me at all. And it seems a lot of you guys are in a similar boat here. 14% of you loved it. Then we have Give Me Glow Cosmetics, and they've announced that they're having a rebrand, which I think is really quite smart for them, because they've been listening to their consumers in that their pan sizes are huge, you know, like bigger than your eyeballs. And basically consumers are saying, we don't mind if the pan sizes are smaller if you can bring down the price. So it sounds like that's what Give Me Glow are actually doing. And it looks like they're changing it from circle like pans to squares, which is very aesthetically pleasing for me. I really like that, because then there's no wasted space in the palette.
Yeah.
This is their Juicy Blueberry palette, which is basically like a sister palette to their Juicy Olive. Now, their Juicy Olive palette came out, I want to say, about 4 years ago. Like, it's a very established palette. I have it. I love it. Genuinely love it. And I think this is quite an interesting palette. I love that they didn't go full blurple, that they have some other pops in there that you can kind of associate with, for example, blueberry muffins. I think it's very pretty, and $45 actually isn't too bad, particularly when there's a multi-chrome in there as well. I had so many people like direct messaging me going, I need this in my life. Very
This
excited.
is really pretty.
Isn't it? And like,
it's like kind of like a murky blueberry like palette. Like, it's not like what you would instantly think of like a blueberry palette. Like, I feel like they put a twist on it, and I like that. Like, look at that. Is that the multi-chrome shade?
Yeah.
What's it called? Bake Sale Queen.
Yeah.
Holy moly, that shade looks so beautiful. It's so pretty.
Yeah, I love that they didn't go for like the expected, because there already are like blueberry palettes in existence. For example, BH Cosmetics did their blueberry palette 2 or 3 years ago, which is a very, very good palette.
Actually, blueberry muffin.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that they haven't like duped it, or they've taken their own idea from this. This is very clearly from them. I love it. I think it's very, very interesting. Again, I love that they haven't gone fully monochromatic.
Yeah, like you have those, like that yellow and that like orange there as a pop, and then like more of those like neutrally purpley leaning tones.
Like, I feel like even though it's a 10-pan palette, I actually feel like it's very versatile. Like, you could do a full neutral look there, no problem.
Okay. I think they did a really good job with this one. And I like that they're like listening also, like the customers, like doing smaller pans, because didn't they have like quite huge ones you could like,
they're like,
yeah,
this big. Like,
and it's like, I feel like we had the time when we wanted like huge eyeshadow pans, but now maybe we realize that we're never gonna get through that. If you're not using it like daily, you're never gonna get through that. So you don't need like a huge pan.
And I feel like if you are an indie brand lover, you're probably not going to be one of those people who's like, I use this palette every single day. You're gonna, because you're that bit deeper in the makeup world. So you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna play with this, I'm gonna play with that. It's so difficult to pan an eyeshadow. It's so difficult. I don't know. I've heard tales of it being done. Haven't done it myself. Well,
I've done with some of my like favorite palettes. Actually, I hit pan on one of my Cosmic Brushes palette, the Serenity, one of my favorite shades there. I was like, no.
I can't even.
It must be happening.
I cannot fathom hitting pan. I know that people do it, but I'm just, again, see previous part of episode where I refer to myself as an idiot. That statement still stands. Like, I have all of the attention of a squirrel. Basically, I'm like, oh, I like this palette now, and then I go off and I wander off to something else. I'm a palette hoe. I don't really.
He has like 500 plus eyeshadow palettes, so it's hard to hit a pan when you have that many.
Don't worry, guys. During the summer, I will do a full collection.
Yes, that's gonna be so nice.
or troubling, really.
Or traumatizing.
Yeah. Just sitting there kind of going, how much has she fucking spent over the years?
So they're like plussing this, like this was this much, this was this much.
We could have gotten a mortgage for 20 years instead of 25. We just sitting there kind of, but I wouldn't be covered in multi-crumbs, would I? So yeah, that will come at some point. But I will say, I've talked about this before. I've got a YouTube community thing, and one of the things is I go live once a month, and I did ask my YouTube members what they would like, and the lovely Tina said she wanted a tour of my makeup room and going through what I have. So actually, my YouTube community members will be one of the first to see what is.
So I'm gonna join there today.
It's
I want to be the first one.
Show me what you have. Yeah. I back on track to this. I think this is fabulous. I love Give Me Glow in terms of their quality. Yeah, they're just a very solid makeup brand. Really, really enjoy them. And when I put it to you guys, 51% if you loved it. And then the last thing that we're actually going to talk about is a brand called Notoriously Morbid, and they've been around for 10 years, which is incredible considering like how incredibly competitive the makeup and beauty space actually is. It's so hard for a brand to survive past its first year, never mind getting through a whole decade. And as part of their 10-year anniversary, they are coming out with 4 quads, and they were kind of drip feeding them. And I don't know who the owner is, but I think we might be the same person in terms of musical taste, because each of the palettes are themed around specific bands and albums, and I cannot fucking cope. The first thing that they came out with, and I was like going through my Instagram, and I was like, Jesus, that looks like the album cover, because I am old enough to remember what album covers looked like from actually physically handling them when they were in a CD. I remember that. And I had the CD of AFI's December Underground 1221, and I was kind of going, that definitely looks like that. I hope somebody isn't just like trying to repurpose this. And then I saw that they had done an AFI inspired palette and love it. And then there was a Paramore palette, which also the CD Riot was like my anthem when I was like 16. And then there was My Chemical Romance. Shut up. That's me all over. And then finally Blink 182 or Blink 182, depending upon who you ask. So basically what I'm saying is I think I might be slightly in love with Notoriously Morbid's owner, because they clearly have good taste, in my opinion, in music, because that's the sort of thing that I enjoy. And actually when I'm looking at each of the colour stories, they make sense. So if we're looking at, say, for instance, the first one, which is AFI's December Underground, all of the kind of shade names in there are based upon song names, and they kind of are linked then to the cover art and actually a lot of the music videos as well, and the swatches. They look.
Oh, the blue one is so pretty. Look at that like sparkly black shade.
I love it. And actually it makes so much sense if you know the band. Like this is very...
I have no idea.
It's very, very in keeping with a lot of the music video that they had from that album. Like, okay, let me show you how old I am. When I was that teenager, and I had, and I'm going to say something that a lot of you young folk aren't going to recognise, and I had Bebo. You were able to put a music video on your page that people could watch. I had AFI on for long periods of time. It was primarily Miss Murder was one that I was very interested in. My music taste doesn't make sense. It's also a thing that you should know about me. Because I love AFI, but I also love Taylor Swift. Make it make sense. I love that particular palette. I think it's absolutely stunning, makes a huge amount of sense. That one is retailing for $29.99, which should price it. Then the Paramore one again makes so much sense with the actual band and the album that they're really clearly linking into, which was Riot. A lot of the shade names are based from lyrics of the songs, and I think a lot of it is based upon Hayley Williams' style. You know, she had like orangey hair at one point. She wears a lot of like vibrant clothes, so like that looks really interesting. But then it wasn't until I really got to see the swatches that you could really see, for instance, the shade That's What You Get, that fabulous shift from like that peachy orange to pink.
That's my favorite shade of the palette. Don't really like, my favorite is the blue one out of all of these, but like they have like nice shades in all of them.
Yeah, they make an awful lot of sense when you look at the source material. I'm kind of geeking out because this is where like music meets makeup, and it's my kind of music and indie makeup. So my brain is just like very excited about all of this. That one then is retailing for $27.99. Then there's the My Chemical Romance I'm Not Okay palette, which I'm Not Okay is from a different album than Black Parade, so it's not quite linking in. It's more like linking with the overall genre, the oeuvre, some might say, of My Chemical Romance. And I like that on the album cover, or on the cover of the palette, there's somebody with an umbrella, which links in with Gerard Way, obviously writing Umbrella Academy. Like, I think it's so cool, and the colours make sense because these are the sort of colours that Gerard Way used to wear in My Chemical Romance. So I'm here for that. I feel like that's the most underwhelming though, swatch wise.
It's my least favorite just because it's red.
Yeah,
and I don't like red on me.
That's fair, and that's $29.99, which is, I think, quite pricey. And then the very last one then is the Blink 182 one, which is, I mean, it is just all over the place, which kind of makes sense with the manicness that is Blink 182. Again, that shade Roses by the Stairs, that pink to blue.
That's so pretty.
So pretty. And here's the thing, if you're looking at those and kind of going like Tia and saying, I like that shade, but I don't like the rest, or I like this shade, but I don't like the rest, you can actually buy them as singles as well.
Oh, that's really good.
I think that was so clever. I wish that they did do a bundle deal though, so that you could get all four of these.
Yeah.
I low-key love it, just because it's like where my special interests have met. Yeah.
My favorite is the blue one, and then second favorite is the Blink 182 one.
Yeah.
The two other ones are not really my like style.
Yeah, no, I get that. I will say that I'm very impressed though with the red from the Paramore palette.
Yeah, it looks really solid.
I am wondering, they may not be, and I have to check this out. I will have a little thing down below to tell you whether or not it is true. But considering the vibrancy of that red, I am wondering, are they vegan and cruelty free? Because that level of red, you must have to use carmine for that. Because it's very pigmented. If they are, I'll let you know down below. But I think I really like it. I do. This kind of like tickles my pickle. I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. I do like. I feel the strongest one definitely was the AFI one, the blue toned one, and probably that was. And I don't know if that's necessarily just because the color story is the most cohesive.
Yeah.
It's not. I have a lot of sentimental. I do have a lot of sentimental feelings towards all of these albums, and all of these bands. But that album in particular was like a big one for me when I was like 15 or 16. Like, I mean, I went with it everywhere when I had like a Discman. Because I'm old, and you'd just have to you'd walk and then you'd have to stop because the CD would skip, and you'd be like, God damn it! But what was I expecting? I got my Discman in Lidl, because money. I love it. I actually think it's really, really cool. I think it's such a fun way to celebrate their 10-year anniversary. I am wondering, and this is no shade, or maybe it is, I don't know. Have they got permission from the bands?
That was I was wondering when I saw your TikTok, because they used a lot of their art things and the names and all that.
Like, it's really clearly linked. But what I find interesting is they haven't explicitly said this is inspired by. Everyone has inferred from it, but they've never explicitly said this is a My Chemical Romance, this is a Paramore, this is an AFI, this is a Blink 182.
Yeah, I feel like that makes me think they don't have the permission.
Yeah, which is part of why every bone in my body is like, I want this. I really quite want this because of my brain. But I'm like, oh, if copyright, etc. hasn't been paid for, I just don't feel quite right engaging in it this way. Now, again, that's just me speculating. I'm not saying that that's definitely the case. maybe they absolutely have and just haven't like advertised it. But it seems really weird because I feel like when Hip Dot, for instance, did their collaboration with Evanescence and Korn, they specifically tagged them
Yeah.
posts, and Korn and Evanescence respectively put posts up on their social media, whereas we haven't seen that for many of these, and I find that.
And I wonder, does like indie brands have the budget for like licensing these?
I mean, it would not be the first time that an indie brand has gotten into trouble for using intellectual material that they did not get copyright for, and then have to change the outer packaging. Was it Alien Unearthly Cosmetics that got into trouble for that?
Can't remember.
I think it was. Allegedly. There we go. I'm legally covered. Allegedly. Yeah, I like the idea behind it, but it does worry me that they've not explicitly stated the bands. They're just like, inspired by favorite band. I'm like,
yeah.
But there's so much similarity there that it's really, really clear who it is that they're referring to. Like, very, very clear. You don't have to be a major music fan to figure it out. I like it, but I do want it, but also I have a lot of feelings on this. When I put it to you guys, the AFI palette did the best. That was 36% love. Again, because it was the most cohesive. Then the Paramore palette got 23% love. The My Chemical Romance was 27% love. The Blink-182 palette was 29% love. So actually, they didn't do too badly at all. But my gorgeous friends, that's it. That is another Releases and Rants. We did it. We went through the week stuff and talked about it together like lovely people do. I don't know. I'm very tired. I've been organising my makeup room and it's still a little chaotic. Yeah, I'll get it ready for live, I promise. But I do have to say my favourite comment, and this is from the lovely Terry, and they said, always a lovely day when you share your friends and opinions. Thank you so much, Terry. I very much appreciate it. And I do really love having Tia on. I missed it when you weren't here.
We're back.
Don't you ever abandon me again.
Never.
I was this close to booking a flight to Finland and just leaving my life here behind. You'd have to just like get a pile of cushions and be like, this is your bed now, Teresa. Obviously, I'd live in your apartment with you.
Yeah, obviously.
Me, Cleopatra and Freya, like sleeping on the ground. And Cleopatra and Freya sleep on the ground. They're too fancy for that.
They actually have now because it's been so hot. So they're like puddles on the floor.
I love when they do that, where they actually just give up. They're like, oh. Like there's so many times that as an adult, I actually do just want to go, oh.
Yeah, maybe I can go lie on the floor as a puddle and be like, I give up.
Just next to the fridge. Next to the fridge. That's always the coldest place.
Or inside the fridge.
Yes. You take out all of the compartments of the fridge and just sit in there and Papa opens it to try and get the door. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here, sir. Move along. Yeah. Anyways, my friends, as I said, that is it. That's the end of this week's episode. Do please like, comment, and subscribe to myself and to Tia. And do please share, because sharing is caring, except, of course, for STDs. In which case, just wrap it up, dump it, girls. But that's it. That's the end of this episode. And we will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye.